Welcome to Jersey Reads the Classics, an audiobook podcast delving into the finest works of our literary masters. Unfortunately, it's read by this woman.
What the hell? Who cares? Let's go on an adventure.
Hello and welcome back to Jersey Reads the Classics with me, your host, Rose the Candia. I know you know who I am, but just in case you forgot, I know you didn't forget. Anyway, my friends, well, this is the final episode of A Christmas Carol, as well as the final episode of this year. I know today is December 22nd, a Tuesday, and Christmas, if you celebrate it, of course, we all know is a Friday. And I decided instead of having the last episode on Christmas Day, I figured, let me do it now. And if you want to sit down and watch all these videos, even if you don't celebrate Christmas and you just need some entertainment because you're sitting in the house because most of the world seems to shut down, you could watch A Christmas Carol and be entertained. Do I entertain you? All right. Point is this. Before we get back, we're just going to do a quick recap and what happened in the last chapter, The Ghost of Christmas Future, showed Scrooge, another place where death happens. But it was Tiny Tim is now dead in the future. This is what could possibly happen. And his family, of course, is mourning the loss, but they're also so kind and loving, and they realize to cherish one another and to realize that when someone is gone, we're all going to pass, so it's nice to be kind and loving to one another. So Scrooge was obviously touched by that, but he's also upset that Tiny Tim is dead. We knew that. And then he asked the Christmas past to see his Christmas future, to see his future. And he had his big awakening, his big zeitgeist, his epiphany, that basically he was the motherfucker that was dead, that everybody pillaged from, that pilfered all the food, all the stuff in his bedroom, and that everybody spoke poorly about. I mean, personally, I think he knew that deep in his gut. He was just hoping that he was going to see himself and now he's going to change. But he has implored and begged the ghost of the Christmas future to give him another chance and to be done. And guess what? The Christmas future thing is done, and now we're back probably in his bed chamber because the cloak disappeared and it turned into a bed curtain. So without any further ado, let's get back to A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. Yes. The last two lines of the last chapter that beforehand. Holding up his hands in a last prayer to have his fate reversed, he saw an alteration in the phantom's hood and dress. It shrunk, collapsed, and dwindled down into a bedpost. Stave 5. The end of it. That's what it says, the end of it. Yes, and the bedpost was his own. The bed was his own. The room was his own. Best and happiest of all, the time before him was his own, to make amends in. I will live in the past, the present, and the future, Scrooge repeated as he scrambled out of bed. The spirits of all three shall strive within me. Oh, Jacob Marley, heaven and the Christmas time be praised for this. I say it on my knees. Old Jacob, on my knees. Damn, he really has had a change of heart. He was so flooded and so glowing with his good intentions that his broken voice would scarcely answer to his call. He had been sobbing violently in his conflict with the spirit, and his face was wet with tears. That means he was scared shitless, and now he knew he better change his life. Change his life, okay? They are not torn down, cried Scrooge, folding one of his bed curtains in his arm. They are not torn down, rings and all. They are all here. I am here. The shadows of the things that would have been may be dispelled. They will be. I know they will. You see? His hands were busy with his garments all this time, turning them inside out, putting them on upside down, tearing them, mislaying them, making them parties to every kind of extravagance. I don't know what to do, cried Scrooge, laughing and crying in the same breath and making a perfect, I don't even know what this word is, lacoon of himself with his stockings. I don't know what it is. It's Lacoon. And there's that, whatever, I don't know. Laocoon, I don't know. Whatever. I am light as a feather. I am happy as an angel. I am as merry as a schoolboy. I am as giddy as a drunken man. A Merry Christmas to everybody. A Happy New Year to all the world. Hello here. Whoop! Hello! He had frisked into the sitting room and was now standing there, perfectly winded. Of course, he's an old man. He's jumping around, but I'm glad to see him jumping around. There's the saucepan that the gruel was in, cried Scrooge, starting off again and going round the fireplace. There's the door by which the ghost of Jacob Marley entered. There's the corner where the ghost of Christmas present sat. There's the window where I saw the wandering spirits. It's all right. It's all true. It all happened. It happened, bitch. It happened. Really, for a man who had been out of practice for so many years, it was a splendid laugh, a most illustrious laugh. The father of a long, long line of brilliant laughs. That means the man was frickin' happy for once. I don't know what day of the month it is, said Scrooge. I don't know how long I've been among the spirits. I don't know anything. I'm quite a baby. Never mind. I don't care. I'd rather be a baby. Hello, whoop, hello here. He was checked in his transports by the churches ringing out the lustiest peals he had ever heard. Clash, clang, hammer, ding, dong, bell. Bell, dong, ding, hammer, clang, clash. Oh, glorious, 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 glorious. All right. Running to the window, he opened it and put out his head. No fog, no mist, clear, bright, jovial, stirring, cold, piping for the blood to dance. So you see, everything that's going on internally is what's being presented to him now on the outside. I love it. He's ready to he wants to dance with somebody besides himself. Golden sunlight, heavenly sky, sweet fresh air, merry bells. Oh, glorious, glorious. What's today? Cried Scrooge, calling downward to a boy in Sunday clothes, who perhaps had loitered in to look about him. Eh? Returned the boy with all his might of wonder. What's today, my fine fellow? Said Scrooge. Today? Replied the boy. Why, Christmas Day. It's Christmas Day, Scrooge said to himself. I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. They can do anything they like. Of course they can. Of course they can. Hello, my fine fellow. Hello, returned the boy. Do you know the poulterers in the next street but one at the corner? Scrooge inquired. I should hope I did, replied the lad. An intelligent boy, said Scrooge. A remarkable boy. Do you know whether they've sold the prize turkey that was hanging up there? Not the little prize turkey, the big one. Oh, see, now he's going to go all out. I love it. I love it. I love it. What? The one as big as me? Returned the boy. What a delightful boy, said Scrooge. It's a pleasure to talk to him. Yes, my buck. It's hanging there now, replied the boy. It is? Is it? Said Scrooge. Is it? Said Scrooge. Go and buy it. Walk up, exclaimed the boy. No, no, said Scrooge. I am in earnest. Go and buy it and tell him to bring it here, and I may give them the direction where to take it. Come back with the man, and I'll give you a shilling. Come back with him in less than 5 minutes, and I'll give you half a crown. Okay, and he doesn't mean a crown from your mouth. The boy was off like a shot. He must have had a steady hand at a trigger who could have got a shot off half so fast. I'll send it to Bob Cratchit's, whispered Scrooge, rubbing his hands and splitting with a laugh. He shan't know who sends it. It's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Joe Miller never made such a joke as sending it to Bob's will be. The hand in which he wrote the address was not a steady one, but right it did. Somehow, I went downstairs to open the street door, ready for the coming of the poulterer's man. As he stood there, waiting his arrival, the knocker caught his eye. Remember who was at the knocker? Jacob Marley. I shall love it as long as I live, cried Scrooge, patting it with his hand. I scarcely ever looked at it before. What an honest expression it has in its face. It's a wonderful knocker. Here's the turkey. Hello. Whoop. How are you? Merry Christmas. Now, this is a different tale. This is a different song that Scrooge is singing, because he now knows life isn't about having all the money in the world and all the power. It's about giving, because when you give, you truly receive the love and the joy that you feel from giving. It is truly a powerful thing to give. It was a turkey. He never could have stood upon his legs, that bird. He would have snapped them short off in a minute like sticks of sealing wax. Why, it's impossible to carry that to Camden Town, said Scrooge. You must have a cab. The chuckle with which he had said this, and the chuckle with which he paid for the turkey, and the chuckle with which he paid for the cab, and the chuckle with which he recompensed the boy, were only to be exceeded by the chuckle with which he sat down breathless in his chair again and chuckled till he cried. I love this. And I love to see this is the way life should be. People just be generous and loving and kind. Shaving was not an easy task, for his hand continued to shake very much, and shaving requires attention, even when you don't dance while you are at it. But if he had cut the end of his nose off, he would have put a piece of sticking plaster over it and been quite satisfied. You go, Charles Dickens. You go, Charles Dickens. I'm not going to lie. Charles Dickens, you're winning a little favor with me, even though I never liked A Tale of Two Cities. But I might have to rethink it because I tried to read it when I was a kid. It was a different time. He dressed himself all in his best and at last got out into the streets. The people were by this time pouring forth as he had seen them with the ghost of Christmas present, and walking with his hands behind him. Scrooge regarded everyone with a delighted smile. They were probably like, Jesus, oh my God, what the hell happened? Was Scrooge smiling? He looked so irresistibly pleasant, in a word, that 3 or 4 good-humored fellows said, Good morning, sir. A Merry Christmas to you. And Scrooge said often afterwards that of all the blithe sounds he had ever heard, those were the blithest in his ears. Okay. See, he is emitting a great energy. He is emitting love and light and peace and joy and merriment and cheer. And what is he being met with? Hello, you see, what you put out into the world is what you get back. You're going to say it doesn't happen all the time. It doesn't happen all the time because some people are Scrooges. But that's their own problem. That has nothing to do with you. Doesn't mean I got to douse your light. Don't let others' actions, other people, things and stuff douse your light. Keep your light bright. Keep your light up. It's really keep your head up. I love Tupac. Okay. He had not gone far when, coming on towards him, he beheld the portly gentleman who had walked into his counting house the day before and said, Scrooge and Marley's, I believe. Remember when those poor guys wanted some money? It sent a pang across his heart to think how this old gentleman would look upon him when they met. But he knew what path lay straight before him, and he took it, because he's going to make right what was once wrong. My dear sir, said Scrooge, quickening his pace and taking the old gentleman by both his hands. How do you do? I hope you succeeded yesterday. It was very kind of you. A Merry Christmas to you, sir. Mr. Scrooge? Yes, said Scrooge. That is my name, and I fear it may not be pleasant to you. Allow me to ask your pardon, and will you have the goodness? Here, Scrooge whispered in his ear. Lord bless me, cried the gentleman, as if his breath were taken away. My dear Mr. Scrooge, are you serious? Yeah, he's as serious as a heart attack. If you please, said Scrooge, not a farthing less. A great many back payments are included in it, I assure you. Will you do me that favor? My dear sir, said the other, shaking hands with him, I don't know what to say to such Don't say anything, please, retorted Scrooge. Come and see me. Will you come and see me? I will, cried the old gentleman, and it was clear he meant to do it. Yeah, he's like, bitch, I'm taking that donation for the people. You gotta pay up, Mr. Scrooge. That's what he's saying. Thank ye, said Scrooge. I am much obliged to you. I thank you 50 times. Bless you. He went to church and walked about the streets and watched the people hurrying to and fro and patted children on the head and questioned beggars and looked down into the kitchens of houses and up to the windows and found that everything could yield him pleasure. He's taken in the sights of the world with new eyes of a newborn child, and he's seeing beauty. He had never dreamed that anything could give him so much happiness. In the afternoon, he turned his steps towards his nephew's house, Fred. He passed the door a dozen times before he had the courage to go up and knock. But he made a dash and did it. Is your master at home, my dear? Said Scrooge to the girl. Nice girl, very. Yes, sir. Where is he, my love? Said Scrooge. He is in the dining room, sir, along with mistress. I'll show you upstairs, if you please. Thank ye. He knows me, said Scrooge, with his hand already on the dining room lock. I'll go in here, my dear. He turned it gently and sidled his face in round the door. They were looking at the table, which was spread out in great array, for these young housekeepers were always nervous on such points and like to see that everything is right. Fred, said Scrooge. Dear heart alive, how his niece by marriage started. Scrooge had forgotten for the moment about her sitting in the corner with the footstool, or he wouldn't have done it on any account. So she got all scared. Why, bless my soul, cried Fred. Who is that? It's I, your Uncle Scrooge. I have come to dinner. Will you let me in, Fred? Let him in? It is a mercy he didn't shake his arm off. He was at home in 5 minutes. Nothing could be heartier. His niece looked just the same. So did Topper when he came. Remember Topper, the single guy that's after the plump sister? So did the plump sister when she came. So did everyone when they came. Wonderful party, wonderful games, wonderful unanimity, wonderful happiness. Is it unanimity? Yeah, unanimity. Oh, whatever. But he was early at the office next morning. Oh, he was early there. If he could only be there first and catch Bob Cratchit coming late. That was the thing he had set his heart upon. Oh, shit. He's going to meet with Bob Cratchit. And he did it. Yes, he did. The clock struck 9. No Bob. 1:15. No Bob. He was full 18 minutes and a half behind his time. Scrooge sat with his door wide open that he might see him come into the tank. His hat was off before he opened the door. His comforter, too. Remember, he don't even got a friggin' coat. I keep mentioning that because it's so sad. He was on his stool in a jiffy, driving away with his pen as if he were trying to overtake 9 o'clock. "Hallo," growled Scrooge in his accustomed voice, as near as he could feign it. "What do you mean by coming here at this time of day?" "Well, I'm very sorry, sir," said Bob. "I am behind my time." "You are?" repeated Scrooge. "Yes, I think you are. Step this way, sir, if you please." "It's only once a year," pleaded Bob, appearing from the tank. "It shall not be repeated. I was making rather merry yesterday, sir." "Now, I'll tell you what, my friend," said Scrooge. "I am not going to stand this sort of thing any longer. And therefore," he continued, leaping from his stool and giving Bob such a dig in the waistcoat that he staggered back into the tank again, "and therefore I am about to raise your salary." Bob trembled. Bob was like, what the fuck is happening? Is this guy like possessed? And got a little nearer to the ruler. He had a momentary idea of knocking Scrooge down with it, holding him and calling to the people in the court for help in a straight waistcoat. He wants to call people to put him in a straight jacket because he's like, this ain't my boss, this ain't my cheap boss. Oh my God. "A Merry Christmas, Bob," said Scrooge with an earnestness that could not be mistaken, as he clapped him on the back. "A merrier Christmas, Bob, my good fellow, than I have given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family, and we will discuss your affairs this very afternoon over a Christmas bowl of smoking Bishop Bob. Make up the fires and buy another coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit." Scrooge and Bob Cratchit. Scrooge was better than his word. He did it all. Now I'm getting emotional. And infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die. He was a second father. He became as good a friend, as good a master, and as good a man as the good old city knew, or any good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. Some people laughed to see the alteration in him, but he let them laugh, and little heeded them, for he was wise enough to know that nothing ever happened on this globe for good, at which some people did not have their fill of laughter in the outset. Exactly, he's like, fuck it, let them laugh, it's a funny story. And knowing that such as these would be blind anyway, he thought it quite as well that they should wrinkle up their eyes and grins as have the malady. Yeah, malady. I don't know why I keep thinking malady. Malady in less attractive forms. His own heart laughed, and that was quite enough for him. He had no further intercourse with spirits, but lived upon the total abstinence principle ever afterwards. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well. If any man alive possessed the knowledge, may that be truly said of us, and all of us. And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone. The end. You know, I cried all these books. I cried all these books. So, my friends, that is the end of A Christmas Carol. A true story of someone reforming, making a change because they wanted to make a change. Yeah, he was scared shitless, but still, he had a choice. He could either go back and still be the old nasty Scrooge, or he could make that change. And he made that change. So, my friends, today, I just want you to think about if there's any changes that you'd like to see in your life, you can make the change. It doesn't make a difference, and you don't need to have horrible things happen to make that change. Also, I just want you to know if there's anybody in your life that's really distressing to you, pray for them, send them light and love, and know that, if a change is going to happen, It'll happen. But at this point, just know that right here, right now, we were all put on this earth to be one, to connect with one another. So during these holiday times, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, you're celebrating Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, whatever it is that you celebrate, my friends. If there's someone you're thinking about, reach out to them, whether it's an email, a phone call, a text, or even a visit. Do it. This is a time to let your loved ones know you love them. And if it's someone that you haven't seen in a long time and you really want to see them or speak to them, do it. We are all connected. Let us do the things that we want to do right here, right now. Not have regrets that when we're on our deathbed, that it's like, I should have done this. You don't need to have regrets. Follow your dreams. Love people, be compassionate, be kind, be giving, receive, do all the wonderful things that you want to do, and just do it with a kind and gracious heart. And know that right here, right now, you're not alone on this planet. I know it may feel right now with what the world is going through that you may be feeling alone, but you're not. So I'm just going to end this like this because I think at this point, I just hope that you have a very happy holiday season, whatever it is. And I will say Merry Christmas because if you're celebrating Christmas, Merry Christmas to you. And to all of you who don't celebrate Christmas, happy holiday season. Happy holiday to you in the sense of I hope you find the joy within, the love within for yourself so you can share that with others and bring that cheer and love and empathy and compassion to others. Let's make this world a better place. So I won't be seeing you until the new year. I don't even know what book I'm going to read yet. I have a couple of choices, but you know what? I'm taking a couple of weeks off. So you'll know when I'm returning. It'll probably be mid-January because, hey, even Rosie needs a break, right? But anyway, my friends, I am sending you so much love and light and peace and joy and bliss and magic and fairy dust and abundance and prosperity and health. And knowing as I send all these wonderful, beautiful things to you, I receive them with a grateful heart and with love and light, knowing that all of us are connected. All of us right here, right now are so blessed to see another day, and knowing that each and every one of us finds the love within ourselves, and knowing that right here, right now, that you are worthy. You are enough. You are loved. Someone is thinking about you. And my friends, until we read again. Happy holidays, happy holidays. And I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas, I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Remember, it's a new year.